I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome to the School District of Waukesha. It's a full Board of Education meeting for December 14th, 2016. Will you please rise and we'll join in the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So will you please take the roll call?
William Baumgart.
Here.
Barbara Brezink. Here. Greg Dietz.
Here.
Amanda Roddy.
Here.
Patricia Madden.
Here.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Here.
Kurt O'Brien.
Here.
Karen Reinacek.
Here.
Joseph Como.
Here. And Sue, will you please also verify that the meeting's been properly posted?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, welcome, everyone. Coming out on a cold night, we have a full audience tonight. We have a lot of good things planned, and we have a lot of student things tonight. So that's what'll make tonight special. We're going to start out tonight by having Mr. Dan Duffy and the Waukesha drum majors and color guard captains come forward and doing a little bit of bragging about some accomplishments this year.
Happy to do that. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm here along with my colleague at West, Kaylee Granzo, and you may have heard we had a fantastic marching band performance season. So we thought we would bring the trophies by so that everyone could take a look at those. And I think when we did this several years back, I might have been asked to leave them here for a while. You can let me know if that's...
I don't think
Sure. We'll welcome.
And we're also here tonight to talk about our fantastic performance season. I will pass this around. This is a citation by the Assembly, signed by Representative Scott Allen, Robin Voss, and Tyler August. And it's a pretty cool thing to have come your way from them. So if you want to pass that around as our students are speaking. We've brought 3 drum majors and 2 color guard captains that are going to share some information with you about our fantastic season this year. In order they'll be speaking to you, this is Malcolm, Lauren, Nicole, Christina, and Riley. So Malcolm, you are first. Come on up.
Welcome, Malcolm.
Hello. The process of selecting the Cadets 2016 show, Chase the Clouds Away, began soon after the completion of our 2015 performance season. Each year, marching band staff members collaborate and discuss ideas and concepts in December and January, and the new show is selected and announced in February or March. The 2016 Cadets of Waukesha West began rehearsing Chase the Clouds Away by holding 2 Sunday afternoon rehearsals last May. At these spring mini-camp rehearsals, our goals are to introduce the music to the students, to review basic marching techniques, and to provide our new members an opportunity to experience what it means to perform in a large group that numbers over 140 students.
Our pursuit of excellence in performance is continued with our 7-day marching band camp held at West High School. It's held in late July and early August. Our goal within this camp is to learn and perform the entire show to begin the memorization process. Students in this session at marching band camp are held 8 hours each day and are challenged by the physical and cognitive demands that are presented at summer band camp rehearsals. Once the school year begins, the cadets rehearse daily during 4th hour at West High School. In addition to our rehearsals during the school day, the West Guard practices every Monday evening and full band rehearsals every Wednesday evening. Some practices are held on various Saturday afternoons throughout the marching band season. The cadets' rehearsal and performance schedule requires a substantial commitment of time and effort on the part of our students, staff, and parent volunteers.
The Cadets 2016 show, Chase the Clouds Away, features original music composed specifically for the cadets by retired West Band director, Mr. Rick Kirby. We are very fortunate that Mr. Kirby continues to write music for the cadets, as he has been doing for over 20 years. Chase the Clouds Away is written in several connected segments, including Distant Clouds, Storm Clouds Build, The Calm Before the Storm, Cloud Burst, and Chase the Clouds Away, and Clear Skies, similar to the development of a thunderstorm on a hot summer afternoon. Chase the Clouds Away displayed a variety of styles, both musically and visually, and it was a crowd favorite wherever it was performed. "2016 was a very successful performance season by the cadets of Waukesha West. Throughout the fall, the cadets received first place trophies or caption awards at every competition in which we participated. The cadets won the first place trophy and best visual presentation and best color guard at Waukesha South, the first place trophy at Wisconsin Lutheran, the first place trophy and best musical presentation, best visual presentation, and best percussion at Cudahy, and the caption award for best color guard at Fort Atkinson. The culmination of our performance season took place at the WSMA State Marching Band Championships at UW-Whitewater on October 15th. The cadets received the 2016 WSMA State Marching Band State Championship first place trophy for the 8th time since the school opened in 1993. And we also won the caption award for best color guard. This year marks the 20th consecutive year that the cadets of Waukesha West received first or second place trophy at the Wisconsin State Marching Band Championships at UW-Whitewater.
Through the commitment of time and effort that we are able to achieve a high level of excellence in performance. Students learn the value of teamwork, mental focus, responsibility, tenacity through their participation in the West Marching Band. Some students, especially our new members, can feel a sense of apprehension when they first realize what they will be expecting through the accomplishments throughout our performance season. But as they grow through each week and through each performance, they come to realize that they can accomplish much more than they originally thought possible. They commit themselves to the daily and weekly objectives set before them. The amazing feeling and accomplishment that our students experience after a well-received great performance is unique to the large marching band experience. Knowing that you have achieved a high level of performance within the framework of our physically and mentally demanding environment leaves students with a sense of accomplishment that develops character and builds individual confidence. We'd like to thank our staff of directors, teachers, and volunteer instructors for the dedication to our success. And we want to thank the hundreds of parents who work to provide the behind-the-scenes efforts needed to keep our marching band moving forward full steam ahead. We also want to thank the administration of high school, the school district of Waukesha, and the Waukesha School Board for continuing to provide the support needed to maintain the excellent music program we enjoy in Waukesha. Your support of music and arts provided wonderful and important growth opportunities for students throughout our school district, and we believe that the support of music and the arts is one of the things that make the school district of Waukesha a great place to learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for these champions?
I do.
Mrs. Brezink?
Yes, I was wondering, how do you get to be the drum major? Could somebody answer that for me, please?
Why don't you all come on up? You might need
Yeah.
to take some turns answering.
So becoming drum major, you have to have a lot of musical experience. You don't need to be a professional at your own instrument or anything. You just need to have that knowledge that you can help others. You have to have that leadership skill. And
Okay.
becoming a drum major, it's just a lot of fun. I love it so much. There's a week where we learn how to conduct and everything, and then at the end of that week, we are chosen by Mr. Duffy, and was Granzo helping with the decision? And Mrs. Granzo.
So do you make your interest known, or does Mr. Duffy approach you and say, you're under consideration?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both, okay? Great, thank you. And how about color guard captains? How do you become a color guard captain?
Well, to become a color guard captain, you have to have at least 2 years of experience in the color guard.
Okay.
And similar to a drum major, you have to have that leadership skill. And to become color guard captain, you have to have really good skills and that kind of stuff.
What would you say is the percentage of kids that are currently in the cadets? How many of those kids would you say go play in bands in colleges? Small number, great number?
Dan, you might have a better idea of that.
Uh-huh, okay. Yes. Oh. Thank you.
Mr. Baumgart?
I'm sorry, I missed the names or got mixed up. But you're the last person that spoke, right?
Yep, I am Riley.
Can you read your last sentence again, please?
Absolutely. We believe the support of music and the arts is one of the things that make the school district of Waukesha a great place to learn.
We know that. And that was so important that I think it had to be repeated. And I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Mrs. Reinacek?
Thank you. Did you say, I forgot which one of you, I think, well, whoever mentioned the gentleman that wrote your music? Which one of it?
Mr. Kirby?
Is it, Mr. Kirby, is that specifically for you? Really?
Yep,
Okay.
Our entire show is a custom package.
Wow,
Kirby writes our show just for us.
jeez.
A very experienced drill writer who writes our show just for our students and that music.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you.
And Todd, when you first came to the district, I think one of your comments was you didn't believe how much support we had for marching band and the arts. That was one of the things that, you were talking about when we were interviewing you. And
Right.
yeah, so, and we carry that tradition on. Well, you guys really have done a fantastic job. I don't know if people truly understand the commitment that each one of you have. It's tremendous. It's hard enough to play an instrument. It's way off the charts harder when you're moving around trying to memorize where you're supposed to be and how far apart you're supposed to be with other people. It's a huge amount of work. You guys put in a ton amount of time, and for the most part, I know most of your students are really good. You keep up your academics too, so it's not like you just let the academics slide off and you forget about it. It's a huge amount of commitment. Also, parents. I'm sure parents have lost their voices at the competitions over the years and all the time that you put in. But the tradition at West has been strong for so long. What Mr. Kirby does in terms of writing the music is just fantastic, off the charts, and it's always enjoyable to see you guys in the season that you're going to put together. You're going to have to see what the follow-up season is going to be like next year for a number of you. So, any other questions?
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
You may be appreciative of our efforts, but we are appreciative of yours, and you make us proud, and you help make our district very well known. So thank you for your dedication and passion.
Mr. Bryan.
Yeah, I think, we should recognize it as one of the reasons that we have such strong programs is the in-school district competition that's friendly and spirited between the various high schools, and it's nice to see West out on top this time, and it's always nice when one of the other schools comes out on top too, but nice job this year.
Congratulations and good luck moving forward the rest of the year. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Duffy, for continuing on with that strong tradition. Appreciate it.
Should we leave the trophies here for a while?
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
sure if there's a place
Please.
you want to keep them,
Please.
but
Please.
we'll negotiate when to get them back. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Now it's time for recognitions. Chris Hedstrom has a wonderful Employee Recognition Award to present tonight.
I am very pleased to announce the Employee Recognition Award for December 2016 is being presented this evening to Kelly Weiss-Golatke. Kelly, would you please join me? Kelly started with the School District of Waukesha in 2007. and is currently working as a speech and language pathologist at Lowell Elementary School. Kelly's nominators begin by saying that Kelly's work with students is exceptional. She is extremely kind and caring, and her students respond to her positive attitude by working very hard. She is the go-to person in the building for information and advice regarding individual education program generation and maintenance. She is very knowledgeable and always is willing to take time to make sure students have every opportunity for success. Mrs. Weiss-Galatke has organized social skills groups for students with disabilities. The students then transferred those skills to their specially designed special education class. The experience was moving for many staff. Kelly also made use of video modeling to help teach social skills to other students that sometimes struggle with their daily interaction with others. She was instrumental in facilitating the development of a unique behavior plan for a third grade student that involved the student, family, and the staff. She did this in addition to her regular teaching load. Kelly is a special educator who sees the good in everyone, and she has a special gift in being able to empower students and staff to shine. On behalf of the School District of Waukesha, I would like to congratulate Kelly Weiss-Galatke on being selected to receive the Waukesha School District Employee Recognition Award.
Okay. I just wanted to thank you. And I don't know who nominated me, if you're back there. Thank you.
That's a secret.
I did want to thank the school board and administration for supporting my role as a speech-language pathologist in the school district of Waukesha. I have been here since 2007, and am a different therapist than I was when I first entered the school district. I have learned tremendously since starting my work here. But I'm very humbled to be honored for this. I work with many, many, many talented individuals at Lowell. I learn from them and grow from them every single day. And so I just have to say that these educators are amazing, and I'm proud to be teaching with them. So thank you for recognizing our hard work. And finally, I have to thank my family. It is hard sometimes for family members to have a teacher as a wife or husband, and so I have to say that thank you to my family and to all the families of teachers in the school district. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. We look forward to having you and your team at Lowell continue to deliver quality education to our students. Thank you so much. Right now, we're going to move on to our student representatives reports from Waukesha South tonight. We have Ernesto Castro-Lopez and Grayson Cooley. Please come forward.
Good evening.
Hello.
My name is Ernesto Castro-Lopez. I am a junior at Waukesha South. I am a 3-year varsity cross-country runner and a 2-year captain, along with a first-year varsity wrestler and a 2-year varsity track runner. And this upcoming spring season, it will be my first year as a captain on the track team. I am also the public relations officer for student council this year.
I don't have quite that much going for me, but my name is Grayson Cooley. I'm a student athlete at Waukesha South. I'm a junior. I play football and basketball and captains in both of them, and I'm also in the AVI program.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity tonight to share some of our highlights of our school this year, or so far. We'd like to start off by telling you about how successful our sports programs were this past fall.
Yeah, so our teams have worked very hard and worked through adversity and a lot of grit and showed a lot of determination all season long. My good friend Grace Dargavich placed 8th overall in the state cross country race and brought home a nice medal to show off. We also had 2 students sign commitment letters for scholarships to college on National Signing Day. One of them being Caitlin Scanlon to swim at Eastern Michigan, and Rena Nayoff to play softball at Winona State. That's cool. Also, girls tennis won first place in both singles and doubles at the conference championships and qualified for the state tournament. This is pretty cool. The Classic 8 award itself, the Sportsmanship Award for football, boys volleyball, boys cross country, girls cross countries, and girls swim. And here at Waukesha South, we are very honored to receive these awards from the conference.
So next we'll be moving on to stuff about student council. So this year's homecoming dance was extremely successful with over 900 students attending the dance.
Oh, nice.
Wonderful.
We also had the blood drive a couple weeks ago where 70 people tried to come in and donate, and almost all of them were accepted. And we will also be having 2 more blood drives later in the year. This will be the second year that we are partnering with Whittier Elementary in a gift exchange where we go down and we give them gifts to students who may not have the opportunity to receive gifts, or what they do receive is very small. So we are greatly honored to basically, for some, make their Christmas, and it just gives a warm feeling to everybody around. And so we will be presenting gifts to all kindergarten and first grade students at the school. This year also will be the 2nd annual bone marrow drive in honor of Zach Sprader, a former South student who passed away last year. And on Tuesday, December 20th, at South during the South and First North boys basketball game. That's where it'll be. So everybody's welcome to come and try and donate.
So another thing that happened this fall was South put on this awesome college and career fair. Our gym was filled with this rows of colleges and businesses. I personally benefited from it greatly. Over 100 colleges and businesses were there. And also that I found most beneficial was some of the South staff, like teachers or English teachers, did this presentation to introduce us to even middle schoolers and their teachers, and their parents, about applying to college, how to develop a strong entrance essay, FAFSA with financial aid, and various scholarship opportunities. And this event was open to all students around Waukesha, and it was greatly advertised by all 3 high schools, including CMH, also in the middle schools. So everybody was there. We had over 1,000 attendees join us at this great event, and it was a great evening, and it was a great stimulator for the college process.
One of our most popular programs at South is DECA. So this past October, DECA hosted a Trick or Can food drive event where all the food that they received went to the Waukesha pantry. Recently, they have partnered themselves with Carroll University and the Enactus organization, sorry about that, which essentially is the college-level DECA. And essentially, they are coordinating an event that is focused to promoting all the small businesses throughout Waukesha. And this Saturday, DECA members will be attending a sports and entertainment marketing conference at Lambeau Field to gain valuable experience and insight to the trade. Members are registered to participate in the Polar Plunge this year to raise money for the Wisconsin Special Olympics. Currently, 17 members are preparing to represent Waukesha South at the DECA district competition for this January.
One of our senior English classes has started a great collaboration with the 2nd grade class at Whittier, right down the hill from us. And this is what they do is our seniors are working on reading skills with the Whittier students. I want to make it clear the 2nd graders are not helping the seniors read. It's the other way around. It has been a fun and worthwhile collaboration between our buildings.
So our Gay Straight Alliance Club recently attended a youth summit at UWM, which focused on creating a safe and supportive school environment which promotes tolerance and equity. Our students reported that this was a great event and that they have lots of new and exciting ideas to keep enhancing the supportive culture at South. So another one of our very popular programs at South is our music programs. And this fall, South Band put on their annual March Fest marching band competition and exhibition. We featured 16 area marching bands from various high schools with over 1,000 musical musicians. Sorry about that. It was a great event and a wonderful fundraiser for the South's music programs. Our choirs, symphonies, and band each put on a fall concert and drew large crowds. A variety of selections were performed, including the marching band's compilation of Michael Jackson music. All of our music programs are putting on winter holiday concert, including our band program's concert this evening. Symphony and our choirs will be holding their winter holiday concert next week, Wednesday at 7. All are welcome to attend.
Also at South, we have a great theater program. Our theater program put a wonderful performance of The Rabbit Hole. Our cast and crew did a great job, and it was a huge success. Every year, the Wisconsin High School Forensic Association puts on a state theater festival, and the cast of The Rabbit Hole put on their production at the festival and was awarded the All-State Award. And also, some of the South students got recognized. One was Jordan Levine and Trey Prater. They both earned the Outstanding Acting Award. And also, the next coming up or play is The Addams Family, and the cast was announced just earlier this month, and
Last week, Waukesha South hosted an open house for incoming students. Our staff was on hand to talk about course offerings and answered questions. We had presentations on some of the great things happening at South and in our 2 academies. Our clubs and athletic teams were set up to talk about all the great things on outside of the classroom at South. It was a great night and a very well-attended event.
and also this year, or this first semester, students have had opportunities to talk to the South staff. The GSA presented to South teachers during a faculty meeting to discuss the important impact that teachers have on student levels of comfort and acceptance at South. It was an engaging and very well-received presentation. Also, some AVID students presented to teachers and staff around AVID strategies for organization and academic preparedness. This provided valuable insight for many staff members as to how our AVID program can support all students at Waukesha South. So if you don't know what the AVID program is, AVID stands for Advanced Via Individual Determination. It is a college prep program which focuses on learning strategies to help prepare students for success. Our AVID program this fall went on a tour at UW-Madison, and also we had a lot of prior AVID people in our school that went to Madison, so we talked to them and they shared our experiences and how a lot of the things we were taught during AVID transferred over to college, and how things like Cornell notes and everything like that. Also, our senior AVID students have been applying and getting accepted into colleges, which is always a huge celebration within the AVID program. Currently, we have students accepted at UW-Milwaukee, UW-Oshkosh, Carroll, UIC, and Tennessee State, with more accepting letters coming in weekly.
We would also like to highlight the recent publication of Wisconsin State School Report Cards. Our academies were both rated significantly exceeds expectations, and both were top 10 performers within the state. So far, it has been a great year at Waukesha South, and we look forward to more celebrations to come during second semester. Any questions?
Sure.
Mrs. Brezink?
Grayson, what position do you play? Silly question, but whatever.
For football, I play quarterback.
I knew it.
And I'm the corner. I go both ways.
And you're the what?
I'm a cornerback.
I knew that.
Safety kind of.
Yep.
And then for
knew it.
basketball, I'm the point guard.
How did I know that? I could tell by your size. That you couldn't be on the line. You had
Yeah,
your
no.
quarterback, right?
Some big boys.
Mrs. Ryanchek?
Thank you. Why do you think so many, I have a few questions. Why do you think so many students attended your homecoming dance?
I think this year it was a very unique theme. It was, I think, if I can remember correctly, it was Wizard of Oz. And I mean, the decorations that we were there, I personally wasn't there to help set up because I was racing up at Wisconsin Rapids. But from what I was told, it was very organized. It was very well promoted, and everybody was essentially interested from how we promoted it.
I would answer that by saying at South we have a great school spirit. we have Spirit Week prior or leading up to homecoming, and everybody participates. And I love Stealth Spirit, and
Great,
everybody participates in.
great.
And then, how many years have you been giving gifts to Whittier? Was this the first?
I think last year we did it as well, so it'll be 2 years.
And then what, the bone marrow donation date? What was that? And what does that entail? December 20th, during the day or at night?
It's during the basketball game, during December 20th, North versus.
So donating bone marrow, is that like donating blood or plasma? You can do it right there?
No, it's essentially what you do is you take a cotton swab, like just your saliva, and then you'll go in, so they'll take it, and then they'll send it to the lab, and they'll see if you are eligible to donate, and if you are, they'll match you with somebody, and then you'll go in, and then you'll get.
Okay, so you're not donating, you're just
No,
seeing
no,
if
not
you're.
there. Yeah,
Okay.
that'd be.
I thought it was a little bit more
Yeah.
than
No,
that.
no.
Never, you
No
know.
worries.
Mrs. Brezink.
One more question. When did you say your concert is? Next week, Wednesday, the 21st? Yeah. Okay, at what time?
7, because there's one going on tonight at
Yeah.
7 as well.
7 o'clock Wednesday.
What, don't you have one during the day, on the last day of school?
The 22nd I have down at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock on the 22nd. Okay, but the daytime one is the 22nd at what time? 9, okay, thank
You
you.
all have received invitations. Oh,
Okay, thank you.
welcome.
Mr. Bryan.
Yeah, I was wondering, you're both seniors, correct? Is that
Juniors.
Juniors, okay. So what are you planning to prepare? Next year you're going to have to start making some decisions after high school. What do you got going through your head right now?
I really want to run in college. I had a very successful freshman year, coming out in almost one of the top 10 best freshmen ever at South. But sophomore year, I got a really bad injury and had tendonitis in my ankle, so that ended my season with 3 of the biggest races of the. So I was really upset about that. But I came back this year really strong, and I'm really motivated. So I just want to participate in sports in college. It gives me something to do, and it gives me like a drive to just see the world.
What kind of college do you want to look for? I mean, academic-wise?
Academic-wise, I was looking into engineering.
Well, right now, for me personally, I'm kind of like in the eye of the hurricane, where like it totally hasn't exploded yet, you know. Getting ready for ACT, but I could maybe play sports at D3. That's not my biggest concern. My goal is to get into UW-Madison. Maybe not goal, but I just want to have the satisfaction of getting accepted. And I also have 2 older siblings. One is in Washington, D.C. right now, Washington University. So I kind of worked through that process with her. We went around the country visiting different colleges, also with my brother. He's a sophomore at Madison. So I kind of have it lucky where both of my parents went to college, so I've kind of seen that process.
So
You're hoping-
do you have a 40 time?
40 time, that's not my strong suit.
Speed's not it,
But,
huh?
I'm getting it to like a 4.9.
4.9, not bad.
So you're hoping for a D1 scholarship?
No, that's a little above me, but I'm hoping D3. Maybe like UW Lacrosse. I'm looking to go into PT or
Wow.
athletic trainer or something along those lines. And lacrosse is a great program along with Madison and UW
Right.
Milwaukee. So learned all that at that college fair. So
So are you, either you in the 2 academies then? Or
I am in the engineering academy.
are you doing, no, you're not, okay, very well. Thank you.
Well, this is a fantastic report that you guys gave. Your principal's in the back. I could tell he's proud of you. You guys are dressed sharply and in spirit with the school colors. And I just have one important last question for you guys. Are either of you doing the polar plunge?
Ooh, polar plunge. Well,
Is that a challenge?
Yeah.
Am I challenging you here?
Yeah, if you challenge, I'll accept that. I'll graciously accept that challenge. I love it.
Goodness.
We'll look forward to your next report.
All right.
It could be chilling.
I'll let you know how cold it is.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Where do they do that? Not in Lake Michigan.
We'll move on now to
You and I are going to go again.
We'll move on now to the section of our meeting where we get to have an opportunity to hear from our citizens. As in the past, we allow up to 3 minutes for each person to speak. At the 2.5-minute mark, Barb will give you a signal to try and wrap up in the next 30 seconds or so. We expect all speakers to honor our time limit, to refrain from using inappropriate language in any manner, and be respectful in their comments. And speakers who do not meet these expectations will be prohibited from speaking at future board meetings. We also expect that the audience will be respectful of the speaker and of the Board of Education and refrain from responding with verbal comments, cheering, applause, and other behavior that may detract from the meeting. And also, in order to respect our speakers, please turn off your cell phones at this time. And we do have one person signed up, Mr. Paul Reese.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Paul.
A good New Year and everything else goes well with you. I have a 9-year-old, so it's a great time of the year, and I'm trying to convince her that Rudolph's retiring this year. But so, anyhow, that was a great student report. I was impressed. That was really good.
That was.
Last month when I came up here, I got stuck on a word, electoral college. That was the word I was sticking me with and made me draw a blank. And it wasn't that that's an important word. I'm talking about history here and the learning of history. And I went to Waukesha. I graduated from Waukesha North, and I didn't learn these things. I didn't learn a lot of things about you got a lot of I love history, and yet I hated going to class. I hated class. You got the who, the where, and the why. Why's not so much. Why wasn't there? That's the one I liked. But you always got the who, the where, and the when. It was always the thing. You had to know the dates, the places, and that bored me. It was the why. I mean, I didn't find out about Neville Chamberlain till 8 to 10 years after I graduated high school. I really got interested in history and started really watching the History Channel and really got into things. But there is a why right there to why it started, And those things were always left out. And those were the things that always interest me. Why did our founding fathers come up with this electoral college? It's real simple to do majority. It's a simple thing to come up with this. But they came up with something far more complex. There had to be a reason why. Weather and all sorts of things took place. There was a reason why, and it wasn't because of slavery. I heard someone on TV scream it was because of that. If it was slavery, then how did Lincoln ever get elected? If it was to protect it. But history, we are becoming very ignorant to history right now because things are changing so much. Jesus said, we testify to what we know. To what my experiences are is what I testify about. When Christ was on the cross, he said, my Father, my Lord, why have thou forsaken me? Why did he say that? What was the reason why he said that? What was the purpose of it? This didn't exist 2,000 years ago. It was in scroll form. The book of Psalms was not numbered. First Psalm, second Psalm, 22nd Psalm. It was, if you wanted to look up a psalm, you used the first sentence of it. Looking up 22nd Psalm. So the people in the audience knew that he was talking about the 22nd Psalm.
30 seconds.
And that is part of history that's lost. We don't recognize that because we lose that as time advances, as we become more advanced in our society. We lose those things. I don't know what it's like to pull water from a well. I know what it's like to go home, and I don't know what it's like to go home and have to start a fire. I don't know those things anymore. Those are gone. Those are parts of history that are gone, and we become a name to them. They have no history to us in that. We don't understand why people did the things they did and the way they did them. And I would hope that one thing that Mr. Gray would look and see how Common Core is going away, that we can look into some of these things and study some of these things in history on the why things came about the way they did. Anyways, thanks again. Have a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board at this time? Okay, thank you, everybody. We'll move on to our minute approval. We only have one set of minutes to approve tonight. That's our November 9th, 2016 regular Board of Education minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second for that?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Reinacek. Any discussion on it? Corrections? Sue, will you take the roll call vote, please?
Don't have a second?
Yeah, Karen
Oh, I'm
seconded.
sorry, I missed that. Sorry. Barbara Brezink,
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
And Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0, Sue. Moving on to our communications and report time. Dr. Gray, we'll start with your report.
My first correspondence this evening is from Dave Sternick, Commissioner of the Classic 8, and he's congratulating North High School for winning sportsmanship awards in boys volleyball and boys and girls cross country for 2016. The second letter, also from Mr. Sternig, is congratulating Waukesha West High School for winning sportsmanship awards in football and girls swim for 2016. And my third letter, also from Dave Sternick, Commissioner of Classic 8. You heard Grayson report on that earlier, so I won't repeat that information. My fourth letter is from the Adam Jacoby from the Wisconsin High School Forensic Association, and he's congratulating Waukesha West High School and Director Nathan Barish for winning the Critics' Choice Award for their play that they put on at the 2016 State Theater Festival. Letter number 5, you heard, again, Grayson report on that. And again, it's from Adam Jacoby from the Wisconsin High School Forensic Association, congratulating Waukesha South and Director Aaron Richards for their All-State Award at the 2016 State Theater Festival. And finally, very appropriately, letter from Dr. Tony Evers, our state superintendent, congratulating Dan Duffy and the West High School band for their first place finish at the Wisconsin State Music Association Marching Band Competition, which is back in October at UW Whitewater. And
That's a nice batch of communications.
yes, it is.
Yes, we'll take
Yeah,
those.
It either rains or it pours. It's sometimes I get nothing, and other times they all come in like this. So.
Well, and you know what? All of our high schools have received this, numerous sportsmanship awards. It's really good to see that. That's a really important part of those activities, and it's good to see that our students are getting way more out of it than, there's the physical aspect, the mental aspect, but the sportsmanship is kind of special, so it's nice to see that the kids are being recognized for that. They'll carry that with them throughout their life,
Yeah.
so.
And it's good to see the other recognitions. Typically, I try to get to all the high schools' plays, and, we have great music, but we have some great theater going on in this district as well. If you have had an opportunity to see any of the plays at the high schools, they're all very, very good.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Dr. Gray. Mrs. Bruzink, do you have a Waukesha Education Foundation report?
I do, Mr. Como. The Waukesha Education Foundation is mourning the loss of our beloved president, Sally Michalko. Sally was a longtime educator in the district and a community leader, and her contributions to the community and the Waukesha Education Foundation were numerous and invaluable. She will be sadly missed. At the December board meeting, we had an election of officers. Gene Shoemaker was elected president, Mark Ziegler was elected vice president, and Ann Paskevitz was elected treasurer. And each of these positions are 2-year terms. We have 2 new board members, Kim Dove and Eric Hummer, and they were elected at the last meeting. Outgoing board member Joe Como was presented with an award in grateful appreciation for his outstanding service to the foundation. Huge thank you to all of the School District of Waukesha schools who participated in a Go Casual for a Cause and related fundraisers. As of December 1st, $14,718 had been raised. The great thing is that all the proceeds of these fundraisers will be used to help fund WEF grants, which will support programs and projects within the school. The celebration of excellence will be held on Sunday, February 26th from 3 to 6 at South High School in the Field House. So I'm going to see each one of you pick up your pencils and open up your date books or pick up your computers and put that date on your calendar because we want to see everybody from the Board of Education there if possible. It's going to be a wonderful celebration. And this year, each school will have something special to share with you about their innovations. So please remember that date, February 26th, South High School. Our goal is to raise $20,000 in this event and to fund future grants. This concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mrs. Brzenk. I think this is probably not a well-known fact, but Sue coordinates those casual days.
I know.
And collects those monies, and I think it was her idea. Maybe it was Todd's idea, or maybe both of yours, or you can thumb wrestle on whose idea it was to donate that money to WEF. But that's a big
Great
boost.
thing,
That's a huge dollar amount. It's a big boost for this organization that does some really, really good work. So thank you for doing that, both of you. Moving on to our next report, given by Amanda Roddy on our Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Safety Committee met this morning at the service building. The first item that was discussed was a student and employee accident report. The next item was the report on the first snow cleanup. Seems that everything went pretty well. They were pleased. The next item discussed was the fact that there are quite a bit of students and staff that have been sick over the last few weeks. People just continue to share whatever they have going around. There was also a brief discussion regarding playground equipment and how it is repaired and paid for. One of our playgrounds has some equipment that needed to be addressed, and so the topic came up. And lastly, the next committee meeting will be on Wednesday, January 11th of 2017. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate it. Mr. Baumgart, would you like to talk to us about charter school and program reports?
Yes, I have a couple items to share with you. First of all, a reminder, not just to the people here, but to the people that might be listening or watching. We are in the midst right now of currently accepting applications for open enrollment or school choice. This is particularly if you're interested in our magnet charter schools or specialty programs, you want to be in making your applications in December through January, I think it's 23rd, except for the STEM, which begins in January. So if you're watching this and you're interested in learning about those schools, now is the time. One of those schools, one of those programs, that I wanted to report on, the Inspire program over at North High School. The students have recently completed their first project showcase that focused on various government and political themes. Secondly, in addition, the Inspire staff have had the opportunity to present at trainings and workshops. Another element of our being noticed out there. The largest presentation they made recently was at the National Convening on Personalized Learning. I think it's a conference that was held in Milwaukee. Chris and Greta presented at that. And lastly, they report that they have had visitors from local school districts, surrounding states, coming in to learn about the innovative learning experiences that are transpiring in Inspire. And they asked me to report that they are thankful to the board for the support of the programs that we have in Waukesha, and we are pleased with their work. There were a couple parents at the advisory meeting the other night, and totally extemporaneously, they said, their kids are just so involved and so happy to go to school every day that it was just, it wasn't asked for. They just stopped and said that, which really tells you that it's sincere. Secondly, there's a couple reports here from STEM. The Great STEM Challenge will take place December 22nd between 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. at both the Randall and Saratoga schools. This year's challenge dealing with designing and building a catapult. So wear your hard hats. And also...
it's dangerous.
I'm sorry about that. Also reported recently in the news, and maybe you saw this, but if not, it's worth repeating. Taken right out of the news, the first snowfall of the year couldn't stop a pair of our Waukesha STEM Saratoga students from bringing home the win at the Young Inventors Challenge at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair Saturday, November 19th. Two of our ninth grade students who hail from, well, again, I didn't write this. This is the way it was written. A duo of our ninth grade students who hail from Waukesha STEM Academy, Jasmine Erickson and Julia Herod, invented a game that they call Field to Find, and then traveled to the Navy Pier for Chicago's Toy and Game Fair competition against other young inventors, and came in with the prize. We also had participation by Emma Gatsky and Kirsten Zimmerman and Mark Eater. So we've been involved in that, and it's, again, another show of what we're doing positively in this district. And that concludes my report, Joe.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. Moving on to our consent agenda. Darren, did we have any gifts to report on?
Yeah, four gifts to announce. Waukesha State Bank and Century Fence sponsored the playbill printing for Waukesha South in the amount of $1,500. 20 $50 Pick and Save gift cards were donated by St. Luke's Church to Whittier Elementary Schools. The social worker will give these cards to families in need. $1,400 was donated to Banting Elementary by Kathy Ballweg through Donors Choose. This gift will be used for flexible seating and ease of collaboration in the classroom, along with iPod charging stations. And the last gift, $679 was given to Hadfield Elementary School by the Waukesha Education Foundation, Hadfield School Scholastic Fund through Waukesha County Community Foundation. This gift is to be used to cut costs for field trips and to purchase other classroom items.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Yeah, thank you for those gifts. They're always generous, and we appreciate those. And I think St. Luke's Church has been doing this one for a number of years. I don't know how many years back it goes, but it's become a tradition for them. So great time of the year to do that too. So thanks to all. Your agenda includes various categories for approval. There were no expulsions this past month. And if any board member would like to have anything set aside for separate consideration, please so indicate at this time. Okay, seeing none, Pat Madden, will you please present the consent agenda for approval?
Yes, I will. Earlier this evening, the Human Resources Committee approved of 3 retirements, 2 resignations, 3 leaves of absence, and 1 new contract. The information was provided in your packet. Mr. President, I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Is there a second to that motion? By Mrs. Reinacek. Discussion? Okay, Sue, will you take the roll call vote, please?
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Barbara Brezink.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0, Sue. Moving on to our superintendent's report given by Dr. Gray.
Okay, we're getting ready for cold tomorrow morning. Again, the media likes to report the wind chill factors. We have used -35, which is a wind chill warning for the last, long before I was here, and we're going to stick with that, as well as the rest of the county uses that number as well. We do make preparations in those particular cases. We ask our schools to have their doors open a little early, so if parents want to drop kids off, or even if they're walking, they can get right in the building where they'll be supervised. We've asked our buses to be patient when they come to a stop, because sometimes the students will stay in the house till the very last second and come out. So there might be a few bus delays because of that and some of those kind of things, but better late than never. We do say if it's really dangerous, if a parent thinks it's really dangerous and we've not called off school, they can keep students home. But there really has to be bad weather. They can't do that on a day that's like 50 degrees. So, and again, calling school using a -30, -25, we would be missing a lot of days, and we'd end up either skipping spring break or going to school and well into June. So that's why we use those. But again, when there's bad weather like this, I usually contact all our principals and make sure they're ready for whatever the weather may bring the next day. Graduation times, a couple weeks ago I reported that more and more parents are asking us to stagger graduation times because they might have, say, one student at North and one at one of our academies. And as long as we are a fully open choice district, we think it really makes sense to do that. So what we are planning on doing is having one graduation at 10, one at 12, and one at 2. I did run this by my parent advisory, and at first they had questions, and then one realized, boy, 10 o'clock at South is going to be about 40 degrees cooler than it will be at 2 o'clock. So I think they all understood the situation, and so I believe this first year we would plan South at 10, and I don't recall the other two, but the other two field houses are air conditioned, so it's not quite the same issue. So we'll see how it goes this time around. And we didn't want to get much later than that. If you have a graduation ceremony that starts at 3 or 4, you're well into 6:30 before people are out of there. And I know there's a lot of events that night for students that start around 5, or parents might have dinner plans. So we thought these would be the best time. So if you hear it otherwise, please let us know. But we think that'll be the best opportunity to hopefully get all parents and all grandparents to everyone's graduation.
Right.
Well, the Waukesha South graduation ceremony is part of my wellness program. I drop about 5 pounds every time there.
Yeah. When you have to put those big
the gowns
capes on, yeah, those are, and it's 100 degrees. And it's not a fun thing to do.
It's
but
hot.
hopefully, we'll see how it works at 10 a.m. this year. Maybe that could be a permanent time for South, because there's no way they could ever get that field house air conditioning.
Nothing helps.
So, my next item, at your desk, you have information from Kaylin Betzig from WCTC. And if you page through it, there's a lot of interesting information. I'm just going to go through a few items. For example, on page 7, we are by far and away one of the biggest users of the transcripted credit. Our students had well over 2,100 credits earned.
Wow.
This in the prior year. Moving on to page 10, at the bottom, you can see all the courses that we really take advantage of these advanced standing credits at the tech school. And then there's some other information on page 14. Again, you can see that the Dual Enrollment Academy, we are by far and away the leader in that particular area among county schools and students who use it. And then on 17, these are students who are leaving us and going to Waukesha County Technical College after graduation. You can see we have a good track record there. So that's good information to have. We've got a very, very good partnership with Waukesha County Technical College, and we continue to try to grow our dual enrollments and try to create more industry certification for students. Our goal in the district is obviously opportunity to go to college, but if you don't want to go to college, hopefully every student has an opportunity to graduate with a skill, an employable skill. And that takes us into our next item. Another item here you have, this is Redefining Ready, it's called. And this is a national initiative to really kind of point out what, again, these are minimum qualifications, but these are qualifications for success in college or career. And I'm not going to go through a lot of it. You can read some of this. I've left off, there's a tremendous amount of research that supports these indicators, but we've been looking at this in terms of, is this something that our state can can look at as minimum benchmarks for college readiness. One of the leaders of this program is currently a superintendent in Illinois, who got his start going to Carroll University and got his first teaching job at Horning Middle School. Again, he's now superintendent in Illinois, but also one of the leaders of this particular initiative. And this doesn't necessarily mean that we would have to adopt these benchmarks as our benchmarks, but I think it's good research to show that this is maybe we need to look at a broader scope of things to determine what's college ready, and a broader scope of things, especially to look at what's career ready. I know, I think Mrs. Reinacek and Mr. Baumgart have been to a number of MAID meetings, and I've never heard one of those manufacturing reps say, you need a good ACT score to come and work for us. They do like skills, they do like some hard skills, some soft skills, and the career identifiers here are exactly what those people are looking for in terms of career in manufacturing. So you'll be hearing more about this, but I just wanted to kind of give you a quick update on this and know that this is could be coming to Wisconsin in one form or another, in terms of some minimums, some things that we can help students take a look at and say, these are minimums, these are things you can do to improve your success in college or improve your success in a career.
On page 5, it also has some things, life-ready indicators.
Right.
That second one really speaks to the AVID program that we heard about tonight at South. Students who are life-ready possess the growth mindset that empowers them to approach their future with confidence to dream big and to achieve big. And that AVID program kind of targets those students who are in the middle there, giving them that extra support and that structure to really have them start to think big and start to dream. And we've had some really great success. The AVID program is helping along those lines, and other programs within the district too. But just thought I'd point out AVID since South was here tonight.
And if you notice on page 3, I mean, I have been saying some of these things, not knowing it was printed here, but it would be unfortunate if we define students by a single score. And again, we hear from our business and our manufacturing reps, how does a score tell me if these kids are ready to come and work for me? And it doesn't. So I think a broader set of indicators is much more appropriate. And again, if you look at that, some of those are hard skills, some of those are soft skills. And when I meet with our manufacturing alliance, they give me both of those. They're saying, being on time, ability to communicate, working the full shift. I mean, those are things that, those are soft skills, but maybe they should be hard skills. And that's what this kind of sets out there, that these are important factors that we need to be working with our students on. So again, we'll have more on this in the future, but I like the concept because I've said, we can't identify our students by a single score. And you saw that with the West Band tonight. Nowhere is that represented on an ACT score. And now we're down to a single score. We don't have the forward exams or the other scores at the high school level by which to judge our students. It's simply the ACT. So hopefully we have some other indicators other than ACT by which to judge whether our students are ready to move on to college or move on to a career.
I agree.
So. And that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Gray. Appreciate that. We'll move on now to our committee reports. We do rotate which committee gets to give their presentation first. And tonight, at bat first is Finance and Facilities, given by Mr. O'Brien.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I have like a 2.5-hour report tonight, so I'm glad I was able to go first. We had no action items. We had 2 information items and 2 discussion items, but because we don't have it agendized for discussion tonight, we'll just briefly cover them all as information items. First information item is the monthly budget report. The committee was presented a budget report for the month of November. $150,202 was reported in the general fund revenue, and $9,318,493 was expended during the month. Let's hope we don't keep that up on a month-to-month basis. $907,125 was reported in the special education fund revenue, and $2,102,630 was expended. The district is operating in accordance with our budget projection and other areas. The second information item was 403B plan approved vendor list. If you remember a couple years back, we had a proposal to us to go down to one vendor, which we really didn't feel too keen on. The administration has come back to us. The committee was updated on the process to move to a smaller number of 403B vendors. Currently, the district has 17 403B vendors. Over the next 10 to 12 months, the administration will begin a process to allow the district to move to a more manageable number of vendors. We're looking at 3 to 5 to 6 vendors in that range. There were a couple discussion items. First discussion item was the planetarium. Briefly, the planetarium is looking to upgrade, and there's capital associated with that. We were given a report by Mr. DeReamer on the planetarium and the status of that, and discussion as to whether the school district or the board would be interested in supporting that upgrade. That might be something we might want to take up with a future discussion item later on. The other item was the OPEB settlement update, which we all are very pleased with. Just real briefly, I want to bring out just a couple numbers. The settlement balance that we received was $5,565,000. Because we received that balance, we now consider the issue complete. Until you get paid, it's not over, we got paid. The outstanding balance associated that's now borrowed to remaining borrowed relative to that issue is $3,871,990. So in essence, we picked up about $1.5 to $1.6 million if you compare what we currently owe versus what we received. I think what's even more important, though, is with this issue being directly tied to the district's OPEB liability, it's a good time to remind the board of the progress that has been made in regard to OPEB liability. In 2009, the district had an unfunded actuary accrued liability of $186 million. In the 2015 financial statements and the 2013 unfunded accrued actuarial liability was footnoted at an amount of just under $56 million. This represents a 70% decrease in that liability, which is a goal of this board, and we have done a fantastic job of reducing that liability, and we will continue to work on that. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. O'Brien. Moving on to Teaching and Learning Committee, given by Mrs. Brezink.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 3 action items, 1 information item, and 2 discussion items that appear on the agenda tonight. The first is the approval of middle school CTE course changes. With the revamp of the middle school schedule, the elective areas reorganized the layout of classes as part of a 2-year process. The first year, they have the 6th grade 9-week course and 2-semester electives for grades 7 and 8. This change will give students more elective options in 7th and 8th grades in the area of technology and engineering, business marketing, and family consumer science. On a vote of 4-0, the Teaching and Learning Committee approved these additional middle school courses for the Career and Technology Education Department as presented. We request for our approval, and I so move.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Bumgart. Discussion? Mr. Bumgart.
I think just a comment, this is something we discussed quite a bit, and the response so far from the principals that were, I think they were all at the meeting, yes,
Yes, they were. Mhm.
Was, there's some glitches here and there, but it's minor. It's all in all, it seems to be a good idea that we're moving without the old wheel. So.
And wasn't one of the primary reasons more flexibility?
Oh, yes.
For and that was the thing. It was just kind of too locked in. And
But, more flexibility, plus when you are taking one of these survey courses, what we used to call them, instead of having just 6 weeks worth of it, you're getting 9 weeks worth of it, which makes it significantly more meaningful.
Yes.
6 was just too short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Any other questions or comments? Mrs. Roddy?
Yes, thank you. Was there any response by parents or students with regards to making these changes?
They didn't report or share any parent response with us. I think we asked them, I believe we asked them, how the parents felt about
We
this.
did.
And they did have, they did say it was positive on behalf of the parents, but they didn't give us any details.
Very good, thank you.
can I ask Amanda a question? Are you referring to once it's been put in or back when we were first investigating it?
The parents' responses to the proposal versus the current wheel that's in place.
Well, when they were going through this process a year and a half ago, trying to build this thing, yes, the parents were as well consulted.
Well,
on a survey of some kind, I don't remember what, yeah.
And I vaguely remember it from other meetings that I was a part of that I was just curious to see if there was any new responses.
Mrs. Reinacek?
I believe I asked that question and they said no, none. They didn't have any, if I remember correctly.
They didn't have any negatives, are you saying?
No, I just asked, how do the parents feel about this? Have you had any feedback? And they said none.
None, yeah.
Which I think if there was no news is good news, and at least I would
Usually
think.
if it's a big issue, they come to our board meetings
Oh,
and
yes.
share it with us, so.
Hear it if it's not
Or
good.
We
come
know
to
that.
see- Yeah, or come to teaching and learning committee meetings, so.
That's why we put you in charge of this
Yeah,
committee.
right.
But we do know that the old wheel was not real popular because it limited students from, for example, band. The old wheel was really detrimental to our bands because you couldn't take, you had to take so many other courses. You couldn't necessarily fit band in
Right.
throughout your entire middle school, which did impact the number of students going into ninth grade band. So we did hear from parents that there were some issues there under the old system.
Yes, under the old system.
Mrs. Reinacek?
And then the students that were accelerating in Spanish then had to go back and they might be in like Spanish 3 or something. They'd have to take Spanish 1 and sit through that. After going through all of our,
In the old system.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Okay, Sue, will you please take the roll call vote on the middle school CTE course changes?
Kurt O'Brien. Aye. Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Barbara Brezink.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye, passes 9-0. Sue? Barb?
Okay. Next is the approval of high school physical education course sequence and new courses. This item was reviewed at our November board meeting as an information item and is now being presented for action. Realigning the high school physical education course sequence will allow students more individualized choice in how they engage in the coursework. Students are required to take 1.5 credits of physical education across 3 years in high school. The proposed shift in the physical education model looks to personalize the experience for students based upon individual interests. On a vote of 4-0, the Teaching and Learning Committee approved the restructure of the high school physical education course sequence and 2 new courses as presented. We request board approval, and I so move.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mrs. Reinacek. Discussion? Mr. O'Brien?
Since our CNI person, or I guess we don't call it CNI, teaching and learning. Is this a significant improvement?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Mr. O'Brien, I think it just continues to customize pathways for our students, and it's the foundation of personalized learning at its core. And so this is really student-driven from their feedback at the secondary level, and the teachers are really excited about making it happen.
Thank you very much.
Jody,
I'll add a comment to that, too. I've had opportunity at both the STEM governance, and engineering, healthcare academy, get my brain sorted out, and at Inspire to discuss this with parents, and very positive, because kids have differences. The kids don't all want to go into team sports. They don't all want to go into weightlifting. So they have a chance to really personalize it again. And this is what this is about, with minimal impact on the way we deliver it. So very positive responses I've received.
Along those
idea.
along
We
those
have an-
lines, you would think that if they're making those choices, and they're interested in those things, hopefully it continues on for lifelong. Then, and that's really one of the goals behind this. Just real quick, lifeguarding, that's new. What a great opportunity. It's swimming is one of those skills that, you think everybody has, but not everyone knows how to swim. And lifeguarding just takes it to the next level. And we do need good lifeguards. I know Boy Scouts produce good lifeguards. We have, Red Cross, but, and Bill's shaking his head yes, because, you've been intimately involved in Boy Scouts, and this is a fantastic skill. And the certification, is that actually done through Red Cross? That's who's doing it? Okay, fantastic. Mrs. Reinachek.
Yeah, and I would think all of our local pools here in Waukesha are going to have, are not going to have any trouble finding
Lifeguards.
help because they're all going to be fighting for the job.
Yeah.
Well, I read the what a student has to do to become a lifeguard, and it's very detailed. They got to be really good swimmers, plus have to be able to do a lot of other things. So,
Well, I'm certified, Barb, so if you
all right,
need
you're
some
in.
help, let me know.
You're in. And then you've got this in your packet, and this shows, I think, very well all of the courses that we offer in physical education. I think it's a lot more than we used to do. So it's a nice opportunity for the kids.
Any other comments or questions? Ms. Reinachek?
I was just going to say, I showed this to a few students, and they were like, we get to choose all these? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, right from their mouths, they loved it.
Good reaction, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, Sue, will you please take the roll call vote on the high school physical education course sequence changes?
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Barbara Brzink.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Sue? Barb?
Okay. Next, we have approval of computer science course sequence and new courses. The item was reviewed at our November board meeting as an information item and is now being presented for action. Currently, we have several opportunities at the elementary level for coding and computer science, but not much in the terms of formal classes for students who want to pursue this field. This comprehensive sequence will provide more students with different career pathways in the computer science field. On a vote of 4-0, the Teaching and Learning Committee approved the computer science course sequence and 4 new courses as presented. We request board approval, and I so move.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mrs. Reinachek?
On a roll tonight.
Yes, you are. Discussion. Just real quick, I noticed that WCTC is involved to a certain degree. Can you, either Mrs. Brzink or Jody, explain how we're working with WCTC on this?
They continue to be a partner with us for our transcripted courses, and so that is their involvement in those web design courses. They would have the opportunity for transcripted credit, so the dual credit option if students choose that pathway.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a loaded question. I was actually serving on an advisory committee that helped provide input into that early on. And so it's good to see this growing. That my participation hasn't been for a number of years. It was kind of in the very early part of that, so it was about 4 or 5 years ago when WCTC started that. But it's really good to see how this has expanded out, and now in collaboration with us. So it really, these are the core things that you need to have for many of the types of positions that are in our field, Mr. McCaffrey. I mean, this is fantastic that these offerings are being made. And we were really short in this area.
Yes.
We were really lacking. I can honestly say there aren't too many areas in our district where I believe we were really lacking, but this was one of them. And I'm really glad to see this being stepped up in a pretty big manner. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Sue, will you please take the roll call vote?
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Barbara Brezink.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0.
Okay, we have one information item, Waukesha Early Learning SAIL Team Update. The Waukesha Early Learning SAIL Team was at the meeting to share the work led by the SAIL team during this school year. They began by building a shared understanding of standard-based learning outcomes. These outcomes are defined in the 4K curriculum across 3 developmental domains. By analyzing the results of assessment measures, teachers are increasing their ability to meet the wide range of student needs by scaffolding and differentiating their instruction. First discussion item is a student achievement update, district state report card update. Our Teaching and Learning Committee received an update on the district state report card last Tuesday. For the first time since 2014, DPI has released district and school report cards. While these report cards look very similar to the report cards we've previously received, the calculations used to figure these new scores are very different. Changes include variable achievement and growth, weighing based on percentage of economically disadvantaged students in the school, and growth measured through a statistical technique known as value added. Value added, simply put, is the difference between the actual and predicted growth over time of students. The last item is...
This is a discussion item, right,
Yes,
Barb?
it is a
Yeah,
discussion.
is there
item.
any comments or questions or input from other board members on this? Or Dr. Gray, anything on this? Okay, Barb.
Okay,
Just
thank
thought
you.
I'd give people an opportunity.
Sure, absolutely. The last item is a Summit View Elementary Magnet School update. Summit View staff were present at our meeting last week to provide the Teaching and Learning Board members with an update on Summit View's elementary school current theory of action, academic achievement gains, and their continued journey as an art, design, and creativity magnet school. They touched briefly on the certification process the school is involved in and recent activities and events helping them broaden their scope. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion on that last item? That was also a discussion item, so.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Brezink. Appreciate it. Moving on to Human Resources, given by Pat Madden.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have one action item tonight, and that is the approval of the recommended handbook change teacher strategic compensation plan. 2015-2016 school year was our first full year of implementation of the teacher strategic compensation plan, which the board approved in August of 2015. The compensation committee changes to the compensation plan are described in the document provided in your packet. The Strategic Compensation Committee, consisting of teachers, administrators, and EAW leaders, met on September 20th and 27th, 2016, to review the current teacher compensation plan. The compensation team reviewed the language from the compensation plan for clarity and practicality and recommended changes. The board's compensation committee reviewed the changes and made additional revisions. The first reading of the handbook changes were presented at the November 9th Board of Education meeting. We are recommending the provisions to be incorporated into the staff handbook. Mr. President, I move to approve the recommended handbook changes to the teacher strategic compensation plan as presented.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Brezink. Discussion? Mrs. Reincheck?
Thank you. So on this page that we have of the explanation, it says that 450 teachers this last year participated in a summative evaluation. Teachers that earned a 1 or unsatisfactory rating will not advance a step on the salary schedule. Last year, 5 teachers earned a 1 and did not advance a step. Why are we keeping them if they're unsatisfactory?
because it might be something small, and they have mentors, and we work with them to see if they can improve what they're deficient in.
So they may be new teachers and just working out kinks. It's not someone that's been here for a while and is
Could
still
be.
not performing.
Could be.
It could be if maybe they had a health problem, so they were just down in their activities in one area, or some smaller item, not an overall major performance that would be worth firing or letting go.
Mrs. Hedstrom?
Yep, thanks, Pat. That is, some of these things are things that we can try to remediate through a directed assistance plan. And for some teachers, a directed assistance plan is called for. I would say that most, if not all of those teachers have resigned. So the answer is they generally aren't kept, and if they are, then they'd be on a remediation plan.
Other questions or discussion? Mr. O'Brien?
So I do have a little familiarity of teachers being on those plans. You know, the reality is some of the teachers would recover. I mean, they don't all end up leaving. Some of them actually respond to, you know, improvement plans. And the purpose of putting someone on an improvement plan is hopefully to be able to retain the teacher and turn them into a quality teacher. We do have to have criteria for whether people move forward or not, and one of those criteria that we have is if you're on an improvement plan, you're not going to be able to advance on a step. So we only had 5, I guess, that were withheld at that point in time, which I think is actually a pretty good sign. I also think it's a good practice to try and work people through an improvement plan, especially if there's and teachers do respond to it.
4 weeks ago, everyone wanted to fire Coach Mike McCarthy after last Sunday. They wanted him Coach of the Year. So you may have a bad year in there, and so that shouldn't define your entire career. So.
And I kind of look at these changes here. We're improving the clarity and the practicality of what we're doing here, and we're going to continue to review all aspects of the handbook as we continue to move on and continue to be as competitive as we possibly can. This is a competitive environment, and I think some of these changes also help us. So, any other, Ms.
And we meet with the teachers, the administrators, and the EAW, along with the Board of Education, when we need these changes, and so it's not just a stagnant handbook that we're using.
Yeah, there was some really good open and honest dialogue going on in those discussions, which I think is very healthy. Yeah. Mr. O'Brien.
Yeah, just give an illustration. I mean, one of the things that needed to be clarified in the schedule, and you know, the schedule is very important. It affects our cost. It affects how teachers get compensated fairly based on their skills and services. And we have 16 is what we kind of call a special step for our teachers. When they get to 16, they're kind of locked in there. But when they advance into another lane, we hadn't really clearly defined that advancement process. So if you look at the schedule now, it's very clearly defined, call an advancement from 2B16 to 3B5, for instance. So when you're in 2B16, you go from 5590 to 3B5, which is 51808. And one of the things that we had in the old schedule way back when was, you know, huge pay increases when people moved, and that was not very practical. And one of the things with the new schedule is we try to moderate those pay increases. And this makes it very clear that we're giving people the right to jump into a lane, see a pay increase, but also see some expectation for additional increases going forward based on years of service, you know, for the next couple of years, and then encourage them to move to the next lane and the next lane thereafter.
All right. How about if we take our vote on the approval of the recommended changes to our handbook? Sue, will you take the roll call vote?
Tricia Madden.
Aye.
Barbara Brusink.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Greg Dees. Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Pat,
Mr. President, that concludes my report.
thank you for that. And moving on to compensation, that's also your committee, Pat.
And there is no report tonight. Everything is going smoothly.
Excellent, excellent. Good to hear. We'll put that in the minutes.
Okay.
Sail going smoothly. That's a quote, Sue. Policy Committee. Mr. Baumgart, do you have a report for us
I sure
tonight?
do. I have 4 action items this evening and 1 discussion item. The action items that I'll be presenting, we've presented previous board meetings, so this is the second reading and final approval. The first is a revision to policy 6171, operation of special education programs. The change in here is quite simply changing or correcting to the current status the administrative title for the Executive Director of Student Services to Deputy Superintendent. And I move for approval of this policy as presented.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Roddy. Discussion? Sue, will you take the roll call vote?
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Barbara Brzink.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Bill?
Yes, the second one is policy number 5113.1, also a correction or update of the administrative title from district administrator to superintendent, which is the title we use. That's on page 3 if you're looking for it. And I move for approval of this policy as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Brezink. Discussion? Okay, Sue, please take the roll call vote.
Barbara Brzink.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Sue? Bill?
Thank you. Third revision is policy 5127 for graduation. There are actually 2 changes in here. On page 2, we have added the sentence about successfully completing the state-required civics assessment. And on page, that was page 1, I'm sorry. Page 2, we have the expanding the way they can get their credits, their online credit for graduation to not be restricted only to eAchieve, but to have other opportunities such as Blackboard 9, Plato, or any other experience approved by the principal and the T&L department. So I move for approval of that revision.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Dietz. Discussion? Ms. Reincheck.
Thank you. I had a parent ask me, well, it was regarding the old way, why we even did that in the first place, required a class from online class.
Well, that would go back to the fact that the world is changing right around us, and as our students graduate from Waukesha and start going either into the business world or into higher education, they're going to be required to take online courses or training. I mean, it's just the way the world is out there, and have not been exposed to it at all is a restriction we're placing on them that's not appropriate.
I think the idea was to at least introduce them to taking a course online, because whether they go to a 4-year institution or 2-year, even out of high school or later on in life, you can get a full, you can get undergraduate, master's, doctoral degrees online. And so we thought it was important to at least introduce these students to this kind of programming, so it would hopefully help them throughout their life if they wanted to get some additional education.
Mr. O'Brien?
I also think one of the reasons why we, at the time it was eAchieve is there weren't a lot of quality options at the time.
Correct.
And eAchieve was something new actually in the state of Wisconsin, and we were kind of the forerunners of it. So it just kind of made sense that since that was really the only quality option that we knew of without having to go through a lot of extra work, to call it eAchieve, or IQ Academy maybe it was at the time, and probably renamed it eAchieve. Now there's more options out there, and this just opens it up to more than just eAchieve.
Yeah, I think this flexibility is good, and there are so many more options available now, and that's a good thing. That's progress in this area, I guess we would call that. Any other discussion or questions on this policy? Okay, Sue, will you please take the roll call vote on policy 5127 changes?
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Barbara Brazing.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0, Sue. Bill?
The last revision deals with two guidelines, 5141.2G and 6145.7G. You have them both in your packet. In both cases, we are dealing with reflecting changes to the amount of advance notice staff must give the health room in order to prepare for students that might need medication help on a field trip. And again, this was read to you a month ago. I move for approval of these two policy guidelines being revised.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Brzink. Discussion? All right, Sue, please take, I'm sorry, Mr. O'Brien.
Just a question for, I guess, administration. It always, I guess over the years, it kind of concerns me, the administration of medicine during the school day. Do we have a waiver signed by the parents for us to do that, or do we just do it?
Bring it.
Mr. Cook?
The students who have a requirement, it comes to us through a medication protocol that's provided by the doctor, and that's furnished by the parent. So any prescribed medicine, insulin for diabetes, an EpiPen for a student with an allergy, ADHD med, all of that comes through prescription by the doctor. There's a form that the district has that talks about the medication distribution with permission signed by the parent. The district has provided the medicine with the label on it, so it is the actual prescription that would be provided to the parent through the pharmacy. And then our staff is trained, so there's some pretty tight procedure around the administration of medication to students.
Mr. O'Brien?
Okay.
Is that, okay. Mrs. Reinacek?
I will testify they can't even have a cough drop without notification from the office.
But we do allow students to carry those, what do you call that when you spray?
Inhalers?
Inhalers, because some of them might need it, and it takes too long to go to the office and get it taken care of. So it does say in here that the student can carry that if needed.
All right, Sue, why don't we take the roll call vote on changes to 5141.2G guidelines for administering medication to students?
And
the guidelines for the field trips also for 6145.7G.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
Amanda Roddy.
Aye.
William Baumgart.
Aye.
Patricia Madden.
Aye.
Barbara Brazing.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Bill?
Lastly, we have a discussion item. This is in essence a first reading for the approval of the Neola Policy Series 0000 through 4000. This series of Neola policies were reviewed by administration and by the policy committee at our last meeting. Clarifications have been provided by Richard Zimmern of Neola. A lot of work is being done in updating them and correcting them as we go. Any questions or comments will be entertained by the policy committee at its next meeting. This item is a first reading and will be brought forward for approval at the February full board meeting because we will have at that time reviewed 5,000 through 9,000, which we are doing next week, Tuesday. So this, in essence, is a first reading. If you have anything that we're going to be dealing with this in February, and we'd like not to have to read 4 of those books at that meeting. So,
Really?
So that's.
Any other questions or comments on that for Mr. Bungart? All right, yeah, a lot of work that we've
yeah.
done so far, and I think
And-
we're getting close here.
Yeah,
And
and it's been a big project, but as the policy committee has noted, as you go through those and you begin to see what the work has been, and the fact that we are dealing with our policies, as well as things have been added to them, and quite simply, it's going to be a very good document.
Yeah.
If you want to call it a document, because it's going to be digital, but.
yeah, I think the approval of the process last month, the idea that Mr. O'Brien had, I think was excellent.
That helped.
Helped us to move things forward faster, and we're getting close. And I'm feeling actually really good about the work that's gone into this. And it is like we've said, it's a complete audit, really, of where we've been and up to date, bringing us up to date with all the latest statutes and regulations that we have to follow. So, is there anything else, Mr. Bungart?
That's it.
Thank you for your report. Appreciate it. Moving on to Technology Committee, given by Mr. McCaffrey.
I have no report this evening, sir.
Thank you. And at this time, we do have some business to go over in closed session. So this will conclude our open session at this time. We would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah, and thank you for joining.
Como, before we go to closed session,
Oh,
did we jump over A and I just
I
missed
did,
it?
yeah. Thank you. Point of order.
I'm sorry, Mr. Como.
No.
But, I'm the WASB delegate, which is one of those exciting tasks in January. And I received on my table today the what we call the resolutions. And if anyone wants a copy of them, I would suggest, I'm going to hand these back to our administration so they can see these resolutions that are being proposed. I mean, I have a feeling there'll be some people that will say, I would like to discuss this at the next board meeting. And because there's always something that might not be comfortable for some board members, and we can have a discussion on it. So I'll make sure that if any board member wants to see what these are, that they can provide feedback on it.
And I
Bring
think
it up.
those resolutions were prepared by different school districts.
Correct. Not that we can have much discussion on this because it's a part of the.
Right.
But the reality is there's large school districts and there's small school districts. And with everybody having one vote, no matter what size your school district is, there may be stuff in here that maybe the school district of Waukesha would not agree with. There may be stuff on voucher schools I see in here that maybe some board members would feel uncomfortable with because we have different views on that. People do, and I think every board member should have a chance to see this
I
before
do
we
too.
take action.
So are you
I
going
do
to
too.
circulate it?
I will give it back to administration, and they can probably
Put it in a
arrange
packet.
a copy.
Put it in
Yeah.
a packet.
Put it in Friday's packet. Sure.
That'd be great.
That's probably the best idea. Any other business for future board meetings or committees? So, thank you for correcting me on that, Mr. Bryan, on the agenda. Anything else that anybody would like to suggest? Otherwise, I would be looking at this time for a motion on item C.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn to executive session per Wisconsin statutes 19.85, 1C, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility.
Is there a second to that motion? Second by Mr. Baumgart. Sue, will you take the roll call vote, please?
Vanderati.
Aye.
Patricia Madden. Barbara Brusink.
Aye.
Kurt O'Brien.
Aye.
Karen Reinacek.
Aye.
Greg Dietz.
Aye.
William Baumgart. Patrick McCaffrey.
Aye.
Joseph Como.
Aye. Passes 9-0. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll go right into closed session.